Hello and welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the Hollister MacIntyre Flyers franchise. Long overdue. We are starting off the Season 6 offseason recap. I know it's been a while, so I'll get you all caught up. Let's start with Alan Schefter, the #1 projected overall prospect in this draft, and he is a monster, can't miss prospect, followed by Ja'Carri Butler, the 20-year-old edge rusher out of Alabama. Really good player that would make any franchise instantly better, especially at 20 years old. So much upside. And then we've got Tyler Davis, the quarterback out of Indiana, Mr. Accuracy himself. Really good player from Utah high schools. And then Champ Barnes and his brother Maverick Barnes, the twins. Really tall, 6'3" at cornerback, really good man press corner, really athletic. Maverick, of course, his twin brother, 6'5", got a little bit more of the height, and he plays wide receiver. Really good Calvin Johnson-esque prospect. Looking a little further, Ronnie Washburn out of California, 23 years old. Ronnie had a really good career with the Golden Bears, and we know they've produced some good talent in the past. Maybe that's the next Aaron Rodgers. Ryan Westergren, a really surprise draft entry from BYU, didn't even get much play, but he was really solid in his years there. Got some high yards per carry. And Kai Allen, one of my most hyped prospects coming into this draft, a box safety out of Louisville that can really play quite a few different roles. So looking at the awards here, Dak Prescott wins the MVP. Cowboys quarterback has been really good in this series, and the Cowboys have consistently been one of the top teams. You can see Kai did finish in the top 5. So just a really good MVP race. We've got Jordan Love, who's really proven to be the franchise quarterback for the Packers in this series. Kyler Garrett even gracing the top 10 with his presence. Really solid rookie year from him. For Offensive Player of the Year, no surprise, it is again Dak, but Kyler Garrett, can't remember his name because we got Kai Linehan, does finish 3rd, so a really great year for him. Defensive Player of the Year, no shock here, the new sack record holder for a season, Chance Fortunata, #1 for Defensive Player of the Year. What a dominant season from him. Excited to see what he can do going forward as we fill out this defense. Rookie of the Year goes to Kyler Garrett, and this wasn't even close. Luke McDonald, a really great rookie year. Theo Clements maybe could have gotten 2nd if he didn't get hurt. But at the end of the day, Kyler Garrett deserved Rookie of the Year, and Kyler Garrett probably could have had more MVP votes if he wasn't a rookie. A little bit of first-year bias against him for sure. For best running back this year, it's going to go to Saquon Barkley and Lance Roach finishing 2nd. Great season for Lance Roach. Really established himself as our #1. And then for the AFC, Baron Gajkowski edges out Miguel Stanley for Rookie of the Year. Gajkowski had a fantastic season, although Miguel Stanley wasn't bad, but Baron was just great. And then the big shocker to start off this offseason stream, Stephon Gilmore is retiring. We just offered him a 1-year deal too. We gave him a lot of money to come back next year. He decides a title was enough for him to retire on. Brandon Sheriff also retiring, so 2 big pieces from our offense and defense gone. Taking a look at some regression here, Frank Ragnow still really at the top of his game at 30 years old, but Dante Pettis starting to lose some of his attribute points, and that really hurts because Dante has been our #1 wide receiver for our entire time in this series. And even some other surprise ones. Eddie Jackson losing quite a few points to it. We didn't think we'd bring him back anyway. Some of our offensive line losing points. Keanu Neal gets a big hit, but he might still be the best available. We'll take a look at him. And then tight ends and defensive tackles losing points here and there as well. Looking at re-signing players, one player I wanted to really bring back was Dudley Barden. I think I like the upside he projects as a deep threat. We didn't really get to see a whole lot of him. Brought him in, maybe threw a few passes to him, and he accepts a decent offer here, which is really cuttable on our end, but cheap even if he does well. Keenan Callahan's another guy that I was on the cut line on whether I wanted to bring back. I really just think we need more coverage linebackers, and with Joe Schobert regressing so much, Keenan Callahan's someone I definitely don't want to lose. 27 years old. For him, it's always been in the idea, but he would not accept that offer. Eric Holloway. Well, we're losing defensive tackles. Stephon Tuitt's gone. We already traded away Jay Terry, and we can't bring him back either. Franchise tag would be used on Ricky Rubini as we need a kicker, and Joe Schobert, after all the regression he had, still decently up there in terms of talent, but we would release him and free up some cap space. Also gives him a chance to go sign with another team. Here is your free agency class, and it was a good one. Zeke Elliott headlines it at 97 overall, 95 Dalvin Cook, and 93 Aaron Jones. Oh, can we please not go against Aaron Jones ever again? That would be too great. Trent Brown was someone I immediately identified though as the top person to bring in. I mean, when you lose a guy like Brandon Sheriff, we need more offensive line talent, and he's the best one we'd have ever had in this series. Artie Slaughter, the Giants wide receiver, was available now, and he definitely fit as someone that I thought would really make this team good. Incredible speed, and he's actually not a bad route runner outside of his deep route running as well. Not the best short, but we wouldn't run him in the slot anyway. Anthony Curtis may have been a better overall player though, off the Eagles. 93 speed, 96 acceleration, and he's good underneath. The only problem with him is he can't run a deep route. Quandre Spriggs, really was interested in him. All these NFC East wide receivers, I guess. Parker Sampson, speaking of as well. Bunch of deep route runners, 95 speed, 95 acceleration. Sampson was a really interesting prospect if you just want a deep route runner. Eric Holloway, can see he still has this abdominal tear. I really wanted to bring him back because we're losing a lot of defensive line talent. I figured 2 years, 50% guaranteed at $8 million was the only offer. We would stick with that and see what happens. Keenan Callahan's another one I wanted to bring back. Another 50% guaranteed contract. $3 million a pop, not so bad. Trent Brown, really wanted to bring him in and to get in this sweepstakes, just 13th to offer the fair offer. So we'd have to bump this up quite a bit. We're talking $14 million now at least to bring him in, number one on his interest now. Shaq Mason, another guy I wanted to bring in here, and we'd offer him a decent contract. Bringing in Shaq Mason and Trent Brown would be very big towards increasing both our passing game and our running game. Something I felt like we've lacked has been a good running offensive line. Alex Landry we would offer as QB2 money, and Parker Sampson was who I ended up deciding to bring in, still leaving the door open for Curtis and Slaughter, but Parker Sampson really I just felt like was someone I didn't want to miss out on a chance to have, at least see what he can do in preseason and move on from him if there. Anthony Curtis I also offered something too. I really thought he was the best of the three, at least the most well-rounded. And then Andres Pete I would also swing an offer to. So we've got 3 offensive linemen, 2 wide receivers, and a few defensive players we're sending out some big money to. This may be one of the last years we can do this though. Kai Linehan entering a contract year. Deshaun Shepard, another depth piece we can get here on the defensive line. Second-year player that's really impressive in his ratings. Not so sure how he'll handle on field. Devon Hamilton, will bring him in as a more veteran present, and let's simulate the first week to see who we get. And Eric Holloway would accept, Andres Pete would accept, Keenan Callahan would accept, and Trent Brown would accept. Alex Landry will be our QB2, and that was a successful first period of free agency. Looking at the ones we still have offers to, Byron Robinson at punter, I didn't want to bring him back, but he was the best overall we could. Shepard, Hamilton, and Parker Sampson. Now let's look at some scouting. His combine reports are out, and Schefter blows away the combine, no surprise here. The best prospect on the offensive line we've seen in quite some time out of Notre Dame. Ja'Cory Butler was really impressive as well in his combine. Didn't take first in any category, but he was second or third in all of his other categories other than 40-yard dash, which is still a 4.64. Maverick Barnes, 6'5" and runs a 4.34. Have you ever seen a prospect like this? This is insane. His 3-cone is agility. Second was 6'6'8". Oh man, there were some really good prospects in this class. TJ Vincent, this guy I found projected early 4th with a late 3rd round talent, and his combine numbers just blew me away. Champ Barnes, the twin brother of Maverick, maybe a little bit of a reach in terms of talent, had a fantastic combine. Zaire Callahan, another corner, more of a zone corner, and he looked impressive as well. Kai Allen was very good at his combine, and I was so intrigued with bringing him in. He was probably my number 1 prospect that was realistic at this point. Rangi Cooper, the punter, we'll see what makes him a 6.0 combine grade. I mean, there's something off about a guy from New Zealand scoring that kind of stuff at punter. We know they're good at that. Tame Bryers, another New Zealander, also had a really good combine. The Kiwis just showing out in full force in their athleticism. real good rugby players there. And Parker Sampson, we offer a little bit more as the Giants look to replace Artie Slaughter with him, and he would accept. And at this point, it was really a question of, did I have enough at wide receiver? Dante Pettis was regressing, and we were going to make that decision in a little bit, as Atari Mason's someone that just hasn't really proved himself as QB2. I still think has a lot of upside though, and he won't be the QB1 ever on this team. So I wanted to trade him away for some extra draft capital, a 5 and a 6 to the Jaguars, who needed quarterback, and he would go there, and he would be their QB2, which has a chance to start in the future if Gardner leaves. Now for the Browns, we wanted to trade away Hugh Porter to be their third string wide receiver. There really hasn't been any chance for him to play, and he's been so good for us. I figured if we could trade up from a 7 to a 6 with Hugh Porter, that would be well worth the investment. He still won't get any play time probably this year, even with us needing wide receiver, and the trade would go through. He is the new slot receiver for the Browns. Now simulating ahead, and we did not get anyone extra from what we had tried to negotiate, and a few guys still being negotiated for. Down to $2 million in cap room. Dalvin Cook going to the Dolphins, as Zeke would return to the Cowboys, and Aaron Jones, the big news, signing with KC. But then I saw this: Evan Ingram to the the Bears, who have Kyler Garrett. Oh, that's gonna be fun. They already had Cole Kmet, now they've got Kmet and Evan Ingram. Well, let's kick off this NFL draft, and we'll pause things as we like to take our time in this for the viewing pleasure of the audience. And how much would it take to trade up for the #1 pick? There was a guy I wanted really early. His name was Maverick Barnes, a freak athlete, Calvin Johnson-esque, and it's not possible for the #1 pick. It's just not. So with the first pick, the Panthers would take Ja'Cory Butler, and all right, not bad for the Panthers. The 20-year-old out of Alabama probably will be their #1 going on day one, and will be really good going into the future. How about the #2 pick? Well, the Broncos need quarterback, so let's see what they do here. Alan Schefter will be their new book-in tackle in Denver, and he'll be blocking for whatever quarterback they get. They don't really have one right now. Drew Lock is their quarterback. Obviously, we don't trade with division rivals, and the Packers taking Russell Perkins the 5th, a really good pick for them. Maybe a bit of a reach as far as his talent level day one goes. Jason Pierre, another tackle I was interested in, goes to the Dolphins, and he will now he will be a really good starting day one tackle. And now with pick 6, I really wanted Maverick Barnes, and he was starting to become someone that I thought could be taken. How much would it take to go from 32 to 6? A lot. You can clearly see here the Chargers are not just going to give this pick away for free, as you would expect. That's how it should be. How about next year's first and our first this year? Would that get it done? Well, maybe. The Chargers really played hardball here. It ends up taking 2 firsts and a second, and the Chargers take this, and we are now pick #6 on the board, and that means I can take my most hype recruit in this series, I think, outside of maybe Chance Fortunato, who we took #1 overall. Maverick Barnes is your 6th selection. A bit of a reach, it says, but 75 overall, 75 physical, 72 deep threat, 21-year-old, 219 pounds, 6'5", that ran a 4.36. Yeah, I think this is a good pick here. Has the same speed as Parker Sampson on day one. Catching is already there. Maybe the general catching worse than his actual fancy catches. The route running, you can see, is what really needs to improve. But the agility, the change of direction, he has run after the catch upside. What a pick. This one was something I didn't expect to happen, and I was so happy to make that come through. It did mortgage our future to do so, so he better pay off though. Chuck Dempsey, another left tackle, going to the Falcons here. The Eagles select twin brother Champ Barnes, and this was somebody I was really interested in getting as well. Would have loved to have both the Barnes brothers on this team, but there was no chance that was ever going to happen. Going forward, the guard Tyler Neal goes to the Jaguars. A great pickup for them. Maybe Tari Mason will be thanking him for blocking for him one day. Cameron Woodson, a lot of tackle depth going in this draft class. And then Levi Brooks out of UCLA going to the Steelers. A really good, maybe 2nd overall talent level in this entire draft, going really late actually. Sonny Shahan, someone I was really interested in. Defensive tackle going to the Seahawks. And now it was the question of, could I get back into this first round? I wanted Kai Allen, the strong safety. How about our second round pick for a 15th pick? Yeah, obviously that's not going to do it. So what will it take? 2 second round picks and a 6th round pick to move up. We are mortgaging our future here, but I wanted Kyle Allen, 16th pick. Would this be enough? No, the 49ers were not biting. I was not willing to give up more. They take Joshua Jimenez Carrillo, and Tyler Davis goes to a division rival, the Minnesota Vikings. So we now have 2 custom Utah recruits from the Olympia series in our own division with the Vikings and the the Bears. I can't talk. Here was something I felt comfortable with. Budda Baker and Isaiah Simmons on the Cardinals. I felt sure there was no way they would take Kyle Allen and I would trade with the next pick. And so naturally, the Cardinals took Kyle Allen here. And there went my biggest talent I was hyped for other than Maverick Barnes. Gone, a really good pick, actually higher overall than Maverick Barnes. So we'll see if we ended up regretting that decision. Well, we still need to move back up into this first round because there's still some really good talent. So we give away this year's second and next year's second. Again, we're mortgaging our future. Zach Garrison of the Chiefs, by the way, really good pick. Bakari Williams, another safety here that I thought wasn't quite what I wanted in Kyle Allen. But Eddie Jackson is aging and getting worse. And so we take Bakari Williams, a really, really good prospect here. Something I feel like I didn't even hit on as much in this stream. That wow, what a guy we got here. 76 overall, really good zone. His biggest issue is he might not be able to play as much in the box as we wanted. The Bears take Alan Pippen, a decent cornerback, but nothing to write home about here. And one of the Cannonopoulos twins goes to Buffalo. He will be a Bill here, one of the ends, Victor. And we'll see where his brother Vaznevi goes. Is Hank Sherman out of Minnesota goes to the Chargers. A really good nose tackle there for him. Really excited to see what he can do. Always wanted him at Olympia, but we never got to mess around with him. Zaire Callahan goes to the Panthers. I was really interested in maybe bringing him onto the team. And the Packers take strong safety Jamal Davis. A pretty decent value pick there. Vaznevi Cannonopoulos goes to the Colts. So they won't be in the same division, but really fun there. Might get to see each other play. Ryan Westergren goes to the Seahawks, and he's a bit of a reach here at 68 overall, but I think he really projects with a lot of upside. Just doesn't have the day one skill set, but he'll develop it. And then Tiny Ted Cook from Utah going to the Buccaneers. Curtis Simpson, maybe the most decorated defensive player in Olympia history, is going to the Kansas City Chiefs to pair with John Schweiss. I was so excited for this. You can see right there, I recognized it on stream as well. And then the Bears take tight end Cam Young, another really good tight end. They already have 2 of them. Do you need more? Ronnie Washburn, however, would go to the Panthers to be their new franchise quarterback, and I will make sure he starts on day 1. You can see Teddy Bridgewater does have the overall level, but I will definitely make sure Ronnie Washburn is their day 1 starter. Daryl Silva out of Utah State, a really, really good center going to the Buccaneers. So several Olympia Series players going there. And Taito Leato, I was really interested in him. And he goes from UC Irvine, he goes here. Tane Briers, we'll see what he's all about. A combine star from New Zealand. Rugby player Tane Briers going to the Vikings, so we get to see him. Nick Larson, another nose tackle I was really interested in, actually more of just a pure defensive tackle, going to the football team. So here was a trade I wanted to make in round 3, just didn't have anybody I was interested in, so we're going to get a few of our future picks back, something we've given up recently. We need to get back in our future to actually have picks to have. TJ Vincent's here, someone I was interested in, and we took him, another guy that really just showed in the combine, and it was awarded with a hidden development. Now, he might not have the best skill set day 1, but you can see there's a lot of upside with him. Brandon Smith, another 3rd round pick here. I wanted strong safety as we missed out on Kyle Allen. Now, Brandon Smith won't probably be our future. Maybe he will get the start at some point, but just a good solid depth piece here as we are starting to get a little bit of age in our safety class, our safety group rather. And then here, the final pick of this 3rd round, Hemi Savea, another guy with a really good upside, a pure nose tackle at 360 pounds. I don't think there will be a lot of play for him on the field to start. Probably just 3rd and short, 4th and short situations where we can bring him in for some run stopping. He won't be an every down player though. Here in the 4th round, Kirk Doherty, the captain, Captain Kirk, going to San Francisco, where he is really highly rated, but will he start day 1? No, not so much. Denzel Haswood's still going to start there. Now here in the 4th, I wanted a new punter because Byron Robinson just didn't cut it for me last year. The Kiwi Combine prospect here, Rangi Cooper, the punter, we'll pick him up. And he's got a leg and a half, but he's also got some speed. We'll see what he can do. He might be an interesting player. JJ Thomas, the other Olympia player, the speedster, going to the Broncos, and he'll get to play some. Not the starter, but he'll get to play some. And then here, late round, Davide Flake out of UCF, a custom Olympia recruit. Actually, obviously not going to Olympia. And we pick him up. He's only a pure blocking tight end. We'll see if he can make the roster or will be more of a practice squad type player. Justin Silver's here towards the back end of the draft, an undrafted prospect quarterback, but I really like this combine. 7.0 was hard to ignore. Now, he's not the best day one, and he really only is a good scrambler, kind of like Atari Mason, but he does have hidden development, so could be somebody interesting. And then Derek Canary with the last pick here in the draft. I picked him up. I did not intend to keep him because I knew his skill set. You get to see Derek Canary here, 97 speed, pretty much a pure returner, not really as much of a good defensive player. I will be trading him away so that somebody else can play with him. Just didn't want him on my team since I knew too much about his ratings. It felt a little cheap. Here's Jakari Butler, and yeah, he's a complete player day one. 20 years old, he's only going to get better and better. Could be the best defensive player in the NFL soon. Alan Schefter, 81 overall, 95 strength, and he's already a good pass blocker on day one. He just needs to get that run blocking up, but with 95 strength, I think that's a pretty good chance he'll do so. Russell Perkins, a really good pick here for the Packers. Maybe not the best talent pick for their position, but 93 speed, 93 acceleration, pretty good cut. Not pretty good, decent coverages, but he has the upside for sure to get there. And then Champ Barnes, really would have liked to pick him up. 6'3", a tall cornerback, really rangy athleticism, and his man coverage and press ability were really intriguing. You can see 70 man, which isn't the best, but his press 87. He would jam receivers off the line so easily. Would have loved to have him with 96 speed. Levi Brooks, I think maybe one of the best picks for his position in the draft. Really excited to see how he plays. Tyler Davis, I'm really not looking forward to seeing him in division. Now we get to play Kyler Garrett and Tyler Davis. You see, he just doesn't have the arm, and that's why he wasn't picked super high. But 91 short accuracy, this guy's going to be good day one, and the Vikings, he will be their day one starter. Kai Allen, I felt sick having missed out on this one. You can see his skill set here. It's just too good to ignore. 93 speed, 85 hit power, really good box safety. Would have loved to have him. And so here is our roster heading into the preseason. The preseason recap will be coming soon. Have a lot of cuts to make, a lot of position battles to decide about. Thank you so much for watching this offseason recap. I hope you're hyped to be back in the Flyers franchise. Olympia also will be coming soon. Thank you so much. Have a good one.